Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Before we get started today, just want to mention this. We're going to be talking about some topics, namely the Vince McMahon stuff that could be considered sensitive or triggering to some. And as much as we try our best to be sensitive to that, we wouldn't blame anyone for tuning out for the benefit of their own mental health. Vince McMahon's sad last days in WWE seemingly have got to be upon us, Larson.
You would hope so. You would think so.
If this latest report from the Wall Street Journal ends up being any sort of factor as it pertains to his time with the WWE. So back on June 15th, if you'll remember, Wall Street Journal released a bombshell report that WWE's board of directors were investigating Vince McMahon due to a hush money deal signed with a former WWE employee who Vince had an affair with. On Friday, today, Wall Street Journal issued a follow-up reporting that Vince had paid $12 million over the past 15 years to 4 women to cover up infidelity and sexual misconduct allegations. The Wall Street Journal stated that, quote, the deals include a $7.5 million pact with a former wrestler who alleged that McMahon coerced her into giving him oral sex and then demoted her and ultimately declined to renew her contract after she resisted further sexual encounters. In another deal, a WWE contractor presented the company with unsolicited nude photos of McMahon she reported receiving from him and alleged that he had sexually harassed her on the job, people familiar say. McMahon agreed to pay her roughly $1 million. In another agreement, a former manager who had worked 10 years for McMahon before he allegedly initiated a sexual relationship with her was paid $1 million to keep quiet about it. Wall Street Journal reports add that Mr. McMahon's affairs at the company were common knowledge, according to former WWE employees. Fightful Select had a subsequent report detailing Vince's behavior backstage. Recently, one source stated that Vince's reaction to recent reports has gone from, quote, no selling the whole thing to, quote, being defiant. The source also told Fightful that following his appearance on the June 17th SmackDown, Vince walked backstage and yelled, fuck him, apparently as a response to the allegation which led to his TV appearance. PW Insider is reporting that WWE sent a memo to employees to address Wall Street Journal's latest report. This memo reads in part, the Wall Street Journal has published a second story with expanded details on its initial WWE report last month. We want to reiterate that we and our board of directors take these allegations seriously. We've been cooperating fully with the investigation led by our board of directors and will continue to do so until its conclusion. Please note that upon its conclusion, WWE leadership will make itself available to answer any questions you may have. Pretty damning stuff.
Yes. You would think that in most any other business or organization, you would think that the CEO, Vince, would step down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, either whether it took pressure from the board, from other executives, whether they did so willingly and freely, knowing the damage they have caused and could continue to cause their business. However, this is Vince McMahon. I have a hard time believing that he will willingly step down, especially based on Fightful Select's report about his reaction thus far to these reports. And I don't know. My understanding is that the board of directors could vote him off as chairman of the board. He would still be. I don't know if they could force him to sell his share of the company. I don't know what recourse they would have in that regard. As you mentioned, this is incredibly damning stuff, and Vince should step down. Absolutely, immediately. It should happen right now. But I would be fairly surprised if it were to happen without his hand being forced to some degree.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I did a little bit of research. There's other names out there, companies much bigger than WWE and personalities on par with Vince McMahon, for example, most famously Roger Ailes from Fox News, sexual harassment accusations in July 2016. He was forced out. Mm-hmm. The CEO of Intel. A lot of these were not. You know, it's one thing to have, and you can talk about absolutely the original allegation of hush money about a consensual relationship. The thing about that is you also have to look at power dynamics and this day and age and how that's perceived.
Exactly.
A lot of these relationships here, Jeff Zucker, CNN, is forced out because of a consensual relationship. A lot of these, I mean, some of these here, like Intel's CEO in June of 2018, Intel's market cap is about 150 billion more than WWE's.
Yeah.
And he was forced out over a consensual relationship.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible.
No, not at all. I'm just trying to provide some context.
Exactly.
Boris Johnson, whose ego is on par with Vince McMahon, literally 2 days ago, was forced out as well when there was enough of a shitstorm kicked up. This isn't. It's funny because John Alba today tweeted something about what makes you think Vince will get forced out given that Donald Trump was elected president. Well, this is business. This isn't, you just got to sway a lot of people into going to the ballot box. This is business. And when there's billion-dollar deals, networks, advertisers, those advertisers want the companies that they're associated with not to have a guy who paid $7.5 million to cover up coercing a contractor into sex. I mean, he'll probably try to show up on SmackDown tonight, but somebody's got to
step in and tell him not to do it.
Put a barricade up or something.
I know, because that's Vince. He's stubborn. He's stubborn, and as mentioned, the Fightful thing, and as we've seen in past, when he feels like he's threatened, or probably in his mind under attack, he doesn't back down, and it could cause some serious harm to his company if he continues down this path. The best thing for him to do is to step down. And I hope it does happen. But I hope it happens. Just knowing him, it's going to be surprising if he does in any way willingly.
He's a singular personality, a man whose ego is unmatched, and you're absolutely right that. But I do sort of wonder if. I mean, there's got to be he has to be preparing himself. He has to know. I mean, and again, talking about rough stuff here, even the Rita Chatterton stuff, which is resurfacing thanks to corroboration that there was sexual assault that occurred back in the early 80s. You got to figure that the pressure has got to be, if he doesn't get forced out, I don't know what they're doing over there. I don't know what kind of power play he could possibly make.
I don't know.
$7.5 million. $7.5 million for this to go away.
Now, if Fox and NBC Universal started leaning on WWE, that would probably lead to something. If advertisers in large numbers started pulling out, something would happen. If the stock plummeted, something would happen for sure. And if enough of the board, I would assume that the rest of the McMahon family may have to recuse themselves from a sort of vote in terms of getting Vince out of there. I don't know, but you'd think, something has to happen. Absolutely, at this juncture, more than him just kind of voluntarily stepping aside. Something more has to happen.
I mean, you would think that you would think that it'd be a no-brainer for NBC, Universal, and Fox to be on the phone right now, saying, "Hey, this is not good for me." It's not the 1990s anymore. You can't get away with this shit anymore. So I honestly don't know. It'll be very interesting to see how this all pans out. I'm sure there will be follow-ups, because I'd be shocked if these 4 instances were the only ones. There is still the investigation ongoing with the board of directors. Maybe he'll wait for that to play out. But I just don't know that this can be. I just don't know that he can get out of this one. I mean, if there's one thing that I don't care who you are, it catches up to you eventually. It does. So yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. but pretty gnarly thing to wake up to.
Yeah,
and especially the if I honestly do think that even if all this stuff was like quote unquote consensual, I think he probably at the end of the day was still going to be forced out. But this the $7.5 million one, I don't know how you survive that. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know either. I know. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah.
Once the initial Wall Street Journal story broke, we've said countless times, more than anything, we want some accountability out of this.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Vince being held accountable for his misconduct, and I hope it does happen.
Yeah.
I really hope it happens.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to some other not nearly as sensitive topics, I guess. Let's talk about Sasha Banks and Naomi. Everybody's wondering what the hell's going on with them. It's been nearly a month now since Raj Giri reported that Sasha Banks had been released by WWE. Boy, time flies.
Yeah, no.
While we've yet to hear an official confirmation on this, we have seen reports that Sasha's legal team was working on getting her released from her WWE deal. Thursday, PW Insider reported that, quote, while there has been no official indication that they have been released, PW Insider can confirm that both Sasha and Naomi were removed from WWE's internal roster over the last 24 hours.
And so that seems like a development, because everything that we had heard prior to yesterday was that despite all the rumors and reports of Sasha being released, her legal team trying to get her out of her deal, that both Sasha and Naomi had remained on the internal WWE rosters.
Right.
So apparently this is a change.
Yeah. So that's interesting. I believe there's still, let me check, as of 11:44 a.m. Pacific time, Sasha Banks, WWE.com. Let's do a quick search here. She is still assigned to the SmackDown brand.
Yeah.
On their roster. Oh, man. So yeah, that's a continuing story. It is interesting when you have a situation like this. Sasha being as big a name as she is, it ain't handled the same way as a lot of others would be. It's just sort of like, okay, well, they're done with it. So yeah, that's pretty interesting stuff. Let's talk about another one of the horsewomen. Yeah. Bayley might be coming back soon. About a year ago, Bayley suffered a torn ACL while training at the WWE Performance Center. And while she's teased a return several times on social media, we haven't gotten much concrete information as to when she might make her return to the ring. Thursday, PW Insider reported that, quote, Bayley was at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando for several days earlier this week. So I wonder if this is kind of one of those things where, because I remember hearing reports that she could be ready as early as like WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if it's just a matter of, hey, we got a lot going on right now. We want to make sure we maximize your return. I'm assuming some sort of return for SummerSlam, which is a big deal show.
Yeah,
would be in the cards for her. I just don't know who the opponent would be.
I don't know either. I think I read today that when WWE initially announced Bayley's injury, they said the recuperation would be about 9 months. Mm-hmm. So that would have been till April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But of course, that's 9 months. Ideal scenario or typical scenario. As we know with injuries, sometimes things could be far from typical. I think Kota Ibushi just said recently that he's still a long way away from coming back from a shoulder injury. What seems to be a fairly, and at this juncture in sports, an ACL tear is a fairly routine injury and surgery. A lot of people have it done. Mm-hmm. You can still face complications, and the recuperation window could be longer than anticipated. Or it could just be they're just waiting from a creative standpoint, try to find the ideal time to bring her back.
The Kota Ibushi thing that you just mentioned is interesting too, because he had a thread talking about all sorts of stuff about potentially starting a new pro wrestling company of his own. But I don't know. We'll have to bug Karen to get us to translate this stuff. Maybe that'll be one of those. Karen, you translate this for us, Karen. Hello. But
I saw one translation of what Cody had said recently, and like he still can't do a push-up.
Yeah.
And like if he wrestled for a minute, his shoulder would pop out again.
Mm-hmm. Karen, your chat, she says, his Dakota Bushi's tweets are intentionally vague, so I wouldn't even want to try. Interesting fella.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting fella. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm looking forward to Bayley's return. I'll tell you what.
Oh, absolutely.
She is terrific. She is absolutely a breath of fresh air, and can't wait for her to come back.
Same.
All right, let's take a quick break here to get a word in from our sponsor, ExpressVPN. Larson.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know this, but those streaming services we all enjoy have different content available based on where you're located. Netflix has thousands of shows, but we only get access to a fraction of them.
Yeah, and watching Netflix without using ExpressVPN is like signing up for a gym membership and only getting access to a treadmill. See here, Steve, ExpressVPN lets you change your online location so you can control where those streaming services think you're located. ExpressVPN offers almost 100 different server locations, so all I gotta do is open up the ExpressVPN app, select location, hit connect, and now I've got access to thousands of new shows, and it works on a bunch of streaming services, Netflix, BBC iPlayer, and more.
The other day, I wanted to watch Pulp Fiction for probably like the 100th time, and it wasn't on Netflix here in the States. So I fired up ExpressVPN, and I watched it on Canadian Netflix in glorious HD with zero buffering. Plus, ExpressVPN is compatible on all my devices. I can watch Pulp Fiction again and again on my phone, laptop, smart TV, whatever.
So be smart. Stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/GIR.
And don't forget to use our link at expressvpn.com/GIR to get an extra 3 months of ExpressVPN for free.
Before we get back to the show, let's take a break here to get a word from our sponsor, Bioptimizer. Steve, tell me what you know about magnesium.
Magnesium. Can't say I know much.
No? Well, here's something you should know. 75% of us don't get enough of it, even though it's involved in like 80% of our body's metabolic reactions. And when you don't get enough magnesium, you can suffer from poor sleep, low energy, and higher stress levels.
Bad sleep?
Yeah.
Low energy? High stress?
Yep.
I'll be honest, that sounds like you, Larson.
Well, it did sound like me, but I've started taking Bioptimizer's Magnesium Breakthrough, and I've noticed that I've been sleeping deeper and longer. My stress levels have gone down, and my energy has gone up. And if you've taken Magnesium Breakthrough before, you'll want to try this new formula because it now includes cofactors like B6 and manganese to help with magnesium absorption, which means it's even more effective. All you got to do is take 2 capsules before bed, and you'll be amazed how much better you sleep and how your mood and energy levels are improved the next day.
For an exclusive offer for Going In Raw listeners, go to magbreakthrough.com/raw and use code RAW during checkout to save 10% and get free shipping. Again, go to magbreakthrough.com/raw and use code RAW during checkout to save 10% and get free shipping. Let's talk about Impact Wrestling, Larson.
Yeah, let's do that.
Speaking of returns, well, not
debuts,
debuts, I guess. A return to our television screens, Kushida. Let's come back to Impact, baby. Coming to Impact.
Yeah.
Come back to our TV screens with Impact.
That's awesome. Kushida's great.
Yeah, man. Oh my God, the dream matches there in Impact. Speedball, Ace Austin, now Alan Angels.
His former tag partner, Alex Shelley.
Bang, bang, bang.
Chris Sabin. There's tons of potential dream matches. And maybe Kushida will get the run at Impact. They never really got in NXT. I know injuries.
Like a good run, like an actual run, yeah.
I know. Put the brakes on maybe some of the stuff they may have had planned for him in NXT.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a guy who was the ace of New Japan's junior heavyweight division. And NXT, all told, didn't really utilize his talents to their fullest. They didn't really do much with them while he was there, which blows my mind because he's an exceptional wrestler.
Match for match, is it possible that at this point Impact's X Division has like the most consistently amazing set of matches? Every time they have a match, it's outstanding.
I mean, literally, you put anybody in the ring across from Mike Bayley, you're going to get a great match.
Oh my God, he's so good.
It's amazing. the consistency with which Mike Bayley wrestles, and the fact that it's consistently great.
He does crazy
every match
shit.
he's in is great.
He's so creative. But we had 2 of those matches last night: Laredo Kid and Trey Miguel, and then we had Alan Angel in his Impact debut against Mike Bayley. Like it's not a junior division necessarily, but their X division, which kind of is a junior division, is outstanding.
Really,
my God, like match to match, you can mix up any of these names, and oh my God,
you're gonna get something good.
Absolutely,
you're gonna get something really good. Yeah. Elsewhere, Honor No More still around for some reason.
They still have a problem. The only guy on their team who wins matches. They got a problem with PCO. What? This is your This is your guy who knows how to put together a win.
This is the guy you should be building around.
Why are you concerned with PCO?
Maybe that's why Ed Edwards has a problem, because PCO is the only one who can win. He thinks PCO is going to make a push to take over leadership of Honor No More away from him. Ed Edwards don't want that, yeah.
If there's one guy you don't have to be worried about taking over leadership, it's PCO.
I know.
He's a Frankenstein monster.
Completely unconcerned with anything related to leadership.
And all he wants to seem to do, oddly, is be a team player.
I know.
He wants to hang out with Honor No More and rack up these wins. He's the perfect stablemate. Why?
He really is.
Out of everybody.
All he really does, he show up, he does his job, and doesn't make a fuss.
Right.
He's not making any fuss.
No fuss.
No fuss.
No fuss.
No fuss from PCO. And yet he's the one who gets shit on the most. It's not fair to PCO.
Heck. Justice for PCO, everybody.
And then we had a fantastic main event: Deonna Purrazzo versus Mia Yim, winner, number 1 contender, the Knockouts title. Mia Yim got the win, so we're gonna get Mia Yim versus Jordynne Grace at Emergence. It's the next Impact special event. It's gonna be on YouTube and stuff. August 13th, I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know how this is all gonna go down. I mean, it's kind of like Jordynne Grace just won this title.
And isn't Mia Yim, at least for now, like a 6 months deal with Impact? I think she said.
Man, they never. Every time I think, oh, this guy, the Briscoes, they're only on a, or the Good Brothers rather. Their deal's up in July, aren't they? They're tag team champions. Yeah. I never put that because Impacts, they seem to get along with everybody. So it's like, yeah, your deal's almost up. Let's make you champion. You don't want to sign again? Cool, you can still be champion. you know?
Well, let's do a per appearance deal.
Right, exactly. You're gonna go put our title on somebody else's show? Cool, just bring it back.
Yeah, that's fine. Bring it back when you're done with it, and then just kind of let us know what's going on.
Exactly. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel like a Mia Yim title win has to be a big deal. So I'm wondering if maybe this will be like a wonky finish. What was the deal with Chelsea Green and Purrazzo with what Gail Kim was telling them?
Oh, Gail Kim was saying that.
They can't be at ringside was the deal.
Yeah, for each other's matches. Like Chelsea couldn't be ringside for last night's match, and then Chelsea has a match against Mickie James next week, and Deonna's barred from ringside there.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe they'll end up wonking the finish to Jordynne Grace. I mean, it's a YouTube pay-per-view, so it's not really a thing. So maybe they'll end up wonking the finish to that, and then you'll get the thing where Jordynne Grace and Mia Yim team up, and then to the next actual pay-per-view, you can do the actual match.
That could be
where Mia Yim gets it. But I don't know. Impact will impact. This was kind of cool. I really dug this Killer Kelly video package, man.
Yeah, that was really good. Really well done.
That was awesome. So like a motel or something. I don't know. It was just really cool.
So like when Impact really does these video packages, they're really well done. But then they have interviews like the America's Most Wanted, where it's obvious they forgot to turn on Gia Miller's mic.
Yeah, well,
and they had to use camera audio.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the Rosemary Taya thing backstage, audio for that wasn't good either.
Yeah, I don't know if they don't know how to like properly mic or mix or whatever. Because Rosemary goes loud and really soft because she's being very dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's the thing about Impact production. When it's good, it's really good.
It is. Yeah.
It's not.
It's it's amateurish. Yeah, for sure.
But that's part of the charm of Impact.
Yeah. So Alan Angels and Mike Bayley, Speedball, kick things off in Alan Angels' Impact debut. I think this is great for him, man. I feel like him, and I feel like Stu Grayson also. I don't think they were getting much out of Dark Order. I get the same thing about Reynolds. I think he's getting. I think he needs to be the next one to reevaluate where he should be, because Alan Angels clearly deserves to be a spotlight guy. And I'd say the same thing about, I don't know like what Stu Grayson's really up to or what his plans are, but I feel like he should have been a spotlight guy too. And instead he was sort of stuck in the Dark Order. To join the Dark Order. Well,
I mean, not only Alex Reynolds, but I know John Silver gets a lot of the spotlight when it comes to
him and Uno are they are the Dark Order. Like,
yeah. But I mean, like John Silver and Alex Reynolds are a fantastic tag team.
They are. They're
fantastic.
Really good, yeah.
The amount of offense they can get off in such a short amount of time is mind blowing.
Yeah.
Mind blowing. And the fact that I know AEW's tag division is absolutely loaded, but the fact that they aren't more involved is kind of weird.
Yeah, it is. It is. I feel like Tony just sort of stopped giving a shit about the Dark Order. I mean, look, you signed so many people. I don't care how many factions you have. There's only enough room for so many of them. But anyways, yeah, this match was absolutely fantastic. Bayley gets the win after Ultimo Weapon. But goddamn, this is just one of those you got to go out and watch it matches. Afterwards,
really
good. Violent by you know what I realized about Violent by Design? Maybe it was all the jokes that we make about their yellows not matching. Shouldn't the Violent be red in their logo?
Because it makes sense.
It's an aesthetically pleasing logo, but I'm like, it lacks oomph, and I feel like red instead of yellow, which yellow is typically the oomph color. Red I think works better because it's the color of blood.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that.
Yeah, it looked cool.
But then Eric Young would have like 5 different shades of red on his ring gear.
I feel like that stands out less than 5 different shades of yellow.
I don't know. I feel like 5 different shades of yellow maybe would work better than 5 different shades of red.
Agree to disagree. So
we'll test that hypothesis.
Diener and Doring, minus the aforementioned Eric Young, attack Bayley and Angels after the bell. Diener grabs the mic, tells Josh Alexander to the camera. He wasn't there. He said, "This isn't over till we say it's over. Get to the ring right now." But Josh Alexander not coming to the ring. "Eric Young did. I'm back now. Haven't seen me in several weeks." He comes to the ring instead. He slow walks to the ring. They go to commercial. Impact rolls on. They come back, and he's just making his way to the ring. He asks Diener, how did we end up here? This was designed by me. This is not part of my design. I'm the designer." He called himself the Violent by Designer.
Yeah, Violent by Designer.
Yeah. Right, Diener's like, come on, what? You were gone. I thought this is what you wanted. We're being violent by design. He says, we knew you wanted to bring the title to the family. We thought we could when you couldn't do it. Got Joe. He's undefeated. He could do it. We can accomplish the mission.
But here's the thing. There's only one person that's supposed to have the title in Violent by Design. That person is
Eric Young.
Eric Young.
How did that end up for you? He said that. He says, under my watch, he was undefeated. He was one of the most feared men in pro wrestling, and now look at him. It's like, what? He just took one loss. It was a valiant effort against a guy they call the walking weapon.
I know.
He says it's clear that the sickness has taken a hold of him. He says, I thought our vision was clear. He said, that same sickness that infects the fans. Like, they don't know the truth. They can't see the truth. These fans are worthless. He says, so now I'm stuck with a difficult decision. Maybe I don't have a choice. Maybe the only choice is I purge you both. If I'm Joe Doring, I'm like, try it, little man.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You're no walking
I just sneer
weapon.
At him.
Exactly. But he does seem confused the entire time. Confused cowboy does not know what's going on.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So Diener says, EY, you're 100% right. Diener, he's like, dude, you've been gone. I'm trying my best over here. He says, you're speaking truth. We can see it, man. He says, you're the designer. You got to give us a chance to prove to you that we can make this right. Eric Young agrees. He says, but this needs to be clear. No, I have no doubt. This world belongs to us. He says, from here moving forward, this world belongs to me. At this point, I really want Diener and Doring to turn on this motherfucker, man. I'm sorry.
Like it's gonna happen.
They're doing their best. You go away for like 3 weeks, they get a title match against a guy who's undefeated.
You know what Eric Young should have done if he was going away? A to-do list. Hey,
Bingo.
Diener and Doring,
bang.
This is what I need you to do. If he has this vision, that needs to be relayed.
Right. Take care of my dogs. Feed my plants.
Diener and Doring aren't mind readers.
Right. What the hell? Do you have a manifesto they can refer to?
Exactly. If you have directives, then present that to them. Write them down so they know. So there's no confusion. They know who the designer is if there's a to-do list.
Right. He designed the to-do list. Exactly. They're supposed to wait for some word from on high?
Don't think so.
He comes back. Look at my chiropractor business. You've ruined it. He gets the belt out, starts whacking their hands.
Exactly.
Go watch Under the Banner of Heaven, people.
Yeah, fantastic show. Then we get Honor No More promo.
This is a mess. This is a mess. It's just talking.
So I'll just go through it. They came with the message, and they were bound by circumstance, and that circumstance, no matter how much hard work they put in, they get screwed over again and again. Impact doesn't want them there, but Impact thinks that Honor No More the problem. However, truth is, Impact is really the problem. That, against all odds, suffered a setback. They don't deal with failure. They're at a critical juncture now if they want to spread their message, and that's when Ed Edwards calls out PCO. And he's about to say something, and Ed Edwards I don't want to hear your answer. I want to see it. You need to show us against Taurus that you know that failure isn't an option.
Yeah, it's all just whack. What is their message exactly? What is their message? They came to their message was hey.
I mean, based on what I've seen so far, their message is belly aching.
Whining.
It's basically Dolph Ziggler's character that stretch, but it's a whole faction.
Yeah.
All they do is complain about Impact not wanting them. But who's writing their checks?
Have you seen?
Are they wrestling at Impact free gratis? I doubt it.
Have you seen the clip? What's the dude's name? Plays for the Timberwolves. The clip from that Sandler movie, Hustle, where he's
Anthony Edwards, right?
Anthony Edwards, yeah. He's balling up the main character, the dude from Spain, and they're on the court together, and he's shit talking. he says, "Where are you from?" The guy says, "Spain." He says, "Shit sounds whack." So Honor No More shows up. Where are you guys from? Ring of Honor. Shit sounds whack. Somebody mentions, I saw on Twitter, somebody said, Rudy Gobert gets traded to the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards, where are you from? France. Shit sounds whack. Oh, it's my favorite thing. I got to watch that movie. I heard good things.
I've heard good things too.
After that, we have a properly mic'd up Deonna Purrazzo and Chelsea Green interview. Deonna says, the match against Mia Yim's a long time coming. There's no better place than the main event to show Mia what happens when you mess with the virtuosa. And then Gail Kim steps in. She says, I love you guys as a tag team. You're great. Next week, it's going to be Chelsea versus Mickey. And then Deonna's like, hey, Chelsea, I got your back. And she's like, not next week. Nobody ringside allowed. Same for your match tonight, Deonna. And they're like, what?
Yeah, they weren't happy about that. Then we got a fantastic bout against Laredo Kid, and Trey Miguel. Trey Miguel really selling the injuries he sustained at the hands of Mike Bayley at Against All Odds this past weekend. He had the rib tape around his leg, and he had to alter basically everything he did to accommodate for an injured leg, and was doing a bunch of stuff off one foot. It was crazy.
No, it was awesome. It was a wonderful story being told. What do you think of Trey Miguel's entrance? He needs. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I feel like he needs to practice it a bit more.
I was about to say that when the timing's right with the spray paint on the logo, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if it's off,
it's very confused.
It really is. It really is.
Terrific match, though. Absolutely
fantastic
terrific match. Yeah.
You can quibble about the timing of Trey Miguel's entrance, but you can't quibble about his timing or his talents in the ring.
I do like the Tron after the graffiti disappears. It's aesthetically, it's a really great looking Tron.
Really good, yeah.
And then it's he's down the subways and shit, and it's doing a speed thing. But it looks great. It looks great. It's just and even the concept of him doing it, the spray paint with it is great. And like you said, when it's timed well.
It works really well.
Yeah, totally.
It's not timed well. It's a bit messy. Anyways, Trey gets the win here with the Crossroads. Didn't use the Meteor because his leg hurts. Then we get Diener and Doring. They're backstage looking for Josh Alexander. They run into Motor City Machine Guns.
Whoop-ha.
And they're like, hey, where's Josh Alexander? And Chris Sabin says, we're not going to tell you anything. And this leads to a fight. And then Josh Alexander just shows up during the midst of this fight, and security is trying to break him up. And they're just all yelling at each other. Yeah, man.
After that, we had a really great-looking Killer Kelly video package. She's on the road heading to Impact, apparently. After that, we had America's Most Wanted interview. This one was not properly mic'd up.
No.
Like you said, evidently somebody forgot. to turn on Gia's microphone.
That's what it seemed like.
So the question was, the premise of the interview was like, hey, this America's Most Wanted reunion, what's up with that? James Storm says, we didn't realize we were going to reunite. Harris says, against all odds, it's always going to be a special moment for me to be able to stand next to James Storm again. I couldn't ask for anything more. If this is our last ride, it's the way I wanted us to go out. Storm says, you never know when or where we'll show up. For now, I've got some unfinished business. And then the camera just follows me. This is kind of cool. He walks backstage. He walks into Moose's locker room, but there's no Moose. Instead, it's Macklin. He's sitting there. Wait, is it Macklin?
I know I wrote. Yeah, it is Macklin. I know I wrote Cutler. Wow.
I was like, it was Macklin.
Yeah, it's Macklin.
Yeah. Was Cutler his previous name?
That was his name in WWE, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And who's the other guy that's shown up sometimes?
Wesley Blake?
No, who's the guy that originally... Oh, God. And he also was in Impact for a second. Sometimes. Cutler was John something or another.
Oh, Skyler. Thank
you. Yes. I get all those names confused. Anyways, Macklin's sitting there.
I don't know why I wrote Cutler. That's weird.
That's awesome. And James Storm is like, where's Moose at? Where's your buddy? And Cutler's like, hey, man, it's none of your business. Nobody wants to snitch these days. You know why? They get stitches. So Cutler wrote it again. Macklin thought against all odds was Storm's retirement match. I thought you retired, man. And Storm's like, nah, man, I'm in my prime.
That was pretty funny.
It was. That was because he takes a swing. In my prime. And then he challenges Macklin to a match next week.
Cutler, yeah. Cutler, that's right.
Cutler.
Then we got PCO versus Taurus. Solid bout. PCO gets the win here with the reverse DDT and then a PCO salt. And then Honor No More come to the ring to celebrate with PCO, like they're huge fans of him now.
Yeah, right.
And then Heath sneaks in, hits Kenny King with his finish, and then escapes and runs up to the crowd.
Whoop-a. After that, we had Bullet Club interview. I think at this point I fell asleep until we got to Shera versus Rich Swann.
Oh, wow. Okay. So Carl Anderson is talking about how Honor No More apparently still has some issues.
Yeah.
Gallows says, yeah, they started a lot of fights, but they're not very good at finishing them. And then Chris Bay says, but we're good at finishing fights. Ace Austin says, as the freshest face in Bullet Club, this sounds like the perfect time for me to get involved in some business with the boys. And Chris Bay says, all right, well, next week, Honor No More versus us. So another L for Honor No More.
Another loss for Honor No More. Wins no more. After that, we had Brian Myers backstage. I mean, I'm sure I was probably drowned. I'm sure I probably heard this maybe in my slumber.
So he's walking through backstage, and he walks up to Swinger's dungeon. And Swinger's asking Myers, are you here for the casting call? And Brian Myers is like, no.
Yeah.
He says, I'm the digital media champ. And then Swinger's like, oh, so you came here to offer me a title shot? And Myers is like, mm-mm. And him and Zicky argue a little bit. He leaves. He walks up to Bhupinder Gujar. Gujar. Mm-hmm. And Gujar wants a title shot. Mm-hmm. And Myers says, well, I can't fight everybody. Yeah. So Swinger, Gujar, you have a match next week, and then we'll work it out from there.
Well, that's nice of him. He's setting up matches. I did see this, though. Shera versus Rich Swann. Swann ends up getting the win here with a 450. This is one of those matches where it's like, man, Shera's huge. Why is he taking the loss here?
Yeah, no.
You want to savor these big men, man. This dude's nothing but beef. Good win for Rich Swann, though.
It is a good win for Rich Swann.
After that, the Influence confronted. So you took those last couple ones. I remember this.
Sure.
So the Influence walks up to Giselle, and they're like, hey, what's the deal with this photo here that Masha Slamovich handed to Neil? Now, Larson, common sense would tell you what this picture means.
Yeah, I mean, it's a picture of Tenille with an X, like a red X through it.
It's like a bloody X, yeah.
Yeah.
And Shaw tells her, it's like, oh, clearly this means she's going to kill you. She says, it's probably my fault, though, because I've been ducking her. And so Tenille's like, this new union between Giselle Shaw and the Influence isn't working. And Madison's like, yeah, you're on very thin ice right now.
And then Tenille says, well, Madison, take care of this. And Madison's like, well, no, I can't.
I can't. The doctor says I can't because I have a busted face.
Yeah. And so Tenille walks out all upset. Mm-hmm. Then we get Taya and Rosemary backstage. Rosemary says, we're still tag champs, but at what cost? Where is Havoc? Trying to find Havoc. Sinister Minister, no help. She says, we should have numbers. But hey, this just goes to show if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. We got to go to the undead realm. to find Havoc. And Taya's like, yeah, we both have to go.
Yeah,
and Rosemary
go
goes,
too.
no, you can't. You can't go. It's dangerous there. And Taya says, I don't understand what this undead realm is, but friends go together and back each other up. Regardless of what problems we had in the past, I'm going with you. We're going to go together. And Rosemary eventually relents, says, fine, next week they're going to go find Havoc.
Yeah. After that'll be fun. That'll be goofy. After that, we had the main event, Deonna Purrazzo versus Mia Yim, as expected. This was pretty great stuff.
It was awesome.
Deonna hits a Queen's Gambit, but Mia kicks out of that. Mia hits a powerbomb. Package pile driver gets 2 with that. Mia Yim hits some Kawada kicks, a package pile driver, and her finish, Eat Defeat, for the win. At the end, after the match, Jordynne Grace comes to the ring to congratulate Mia Yim as we go off the air. So that will be a fantastic match. We'll see how it ends up. I sort of think it might be a wonk finish, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Then we had NXT UK. We're not going to talk at all about the latest tapings.
Yeah. We'll talk about those when they air.
Yes.
But I'm really excited to see what happens. I'm really curious to know more info about that. But there's going to be some interesting things afoot on NXT UK.
Yes.
Please don't talk about it in the comments. Please don't talk about it in chat.
No.
Talk about it amongst yourselves, perhaps in a private session of direct messaging.
Exactly. Something like that.
I don't know. Anyways, no, fun episode. I thought it was cool. I don't know what. God damn. You know why it was cool? I could watch Saray's drop kick to Zaya Brookside over and over and over again. It is a thing of beauty. She annihilated Zaya Brookside with that drop
sell
kick.
by Zaya there, too.
Oh, killed it. Absolutely killed it.
Basically tumbled out of the ring.
Yeah. In terms of developments, and again, we'll have to sort of hold back on talking about some of this stuff, but Trent Seven is becoming lead heel. Big baddie in NXT UK, and I love that, considering that I didn't know if this was going to be he turns on Tyler. They make kind of a feud about it for like a month or two between the two of them. Tyler gets the win, and then who knows what happened with Trent Seven. This feels like a completely clean slate with an amazing... I mean, we all knew that Trent Seven would have charisma, but I don't think we've ever seen him as a proper bad guy until now.
Yeah, not under the NXT umbrella we have it. No.
Right, exactly. And he is an absolute, he is born for this. Mm-hmm. It is every little thing he does is great. He had this match with Tate Mayfair this week, who's essentially like, he's an up-and-coming guy. He's kind of a jobber. But,
he's an enhancement talent at this point, yeah.
A couple, moves into this, Trent was like, yeah, he's going to stay down. Not because of he didn't give him like the Birminghammer, didn't drop him with the lariat until the finish. But like
chops he hit him with, and he was like, all right, he's down now.
He was like, yeah, he should know. He should know just to stay down. And Tate kicks out. And he's like, oh, okay. So we're going to go here then. So eventually he puts him away. But man, and then of course now he's got a feud coming up with Gradwell. Which is going to be great at the very least, just for the promo aspect of things. We already got a taste of it. Two of my favorite promos in NXT UK.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Show kicked off with Tiger Turn versus Kenny Williams. Kenny Williams hoping to unmask Tiger Turn and reveal that it's Amir Jordan. However, Kenny didn't win the match, and he wasn't necessarily successful in unmasking Tiger Turn. So Kenny, of course, distracting himself by talking a bunch of trash to Tiger Turn when he has the advantage. Turn rolls him up to get the win. As soon as the bell rings for the end of the match, Kenny just blasts Turn from behind, hits him with his finish, and he takes off Tiger Turn's mask, but there's another mask underneath.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And so he goes and rips that mask on. There's another mask underneath. So refs and stuff are trying to pull him out. Eventually they do. I wonder how many masks Tiger Turn had on there.
It looked like he had 2 more, because I swear it looked like he had one underneath the one he had on at the end. Mm-hmm. This is goofy. It's supposed to be goofy, but it's even more goofy than I think it's intending to be, because it's like you have commentary arguing over, like, we all know it's Amir Jordan.
Yeah.
It's a surprise to nobody. And the heel commentator, Nigel McGuinness, is the one saying, yeah, no, look, I mean, that's clearly, it's an Amir Jordan move right there. And then the other guy, I always forget his name. Andy, yeah.
Andy Shepard?
Something like that. Yeah, that sounds right. Is like, oh, that might be coincidental. It's like, no, we all know who it is.
Yeah, I know.
It's Amir Jordan.
It's Amir Jordan.
We had a Briggs and Jensen video package after that, followed by last week backstage, Trent, after his scathing promo, is being escorted from the arena. Security, there's a big jack security guy, calls him disgrace. And then Sam Gradwell shows up. He's like, you're the absolute dirt worst. I've known a lot of bad guys and I've done a lot of bad things, but you're the absolute dirt worst. And then Trent says, who are you? A no one. Jog on.
Yeah.
and he walks down the hallway just ranting and raving. It was hilarious.
It was pretty great. Then we get an Oliver Carter interview. He's working out. I think he put some plates on one side of the bar. He turns around. There's Charlie Dempsey loading up the other side of the bar.
I've never seen a smile on Dempsey's face until I saw him helping Oliver Carter. He was like, hey, mate, here's another plate.
Yeah, he put on another 45-pounder.
Yeah, instead of being cool about it, he's like, let's go
back. Then Tailman steps in, and Raja does as well. And Tailman's like, I still haven't heard an answer.
They get too
with
close,
us
too. They get
or
too
against
close
us. I know. And Carter says, well, that's enough. They're talking crap about Ashton Smith. He says, I'm not going to take that. I'll run through all of you.
Ooh.
And Raja says, well, how about we have a match next week? And then Tailman goes, no. I'm taking responsibility for this family. I'm going to hurt you.
I'm going to hurt you. Tailman looks like he should be in movies, man.
Yeah,
he's got that actor face. It's so good. I'm going to hurt you. After that, we had Josh Morrell versus Primate. This was great to see because Josh Morrell, who typically has been enhancement talent on NXT UK, seems like he might be on the come up because he got this win here over Primate with a slingshot code red. So yeah, that was cool to see.
Yeah, that was cool.
Because he's always been pretty impressive. A couple of the young lions there in UK are pretty impressive. Even Tate Mayfair's later on is pretty impressive. Like a lot of the selling he's been doing. The other dude, not Josh Morrell, not Tate Mayfair's. There's that other guy who's like jacked these days.
Yeah, I don't recall.
Forget his name. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyways, I guess they're doing a story with Primate that now that he's away from Eddie Dennis, has he lost his way?
Yeah.
I feel like if you're away from Eddie Dennis, then you should finally succeed. But, what do I know?
Right.
So then
Let's talk about parking lots.
Yeah, because Blair Davenport shows up at the Performance Center or the BT Studio parking lot. She's asked about, hey, you're back in NXT UK. What's different? She says, not much has changed. And then Amel steps out and says, hey, you mentioned last week that you're going to smash All Hope here. I hope you weren't talking about me. And Blair says, no, that was just my way of letting the roster know that whatever plans or hope that you have are about to change. But if you do step up to me again, Amel, you're going to have no hope. So she walks away, and then Stevie Turner is just kind of like lingering in the background, walks up to Amel and starts making fun of her. And then Amel says, all right, well, I'll kick your ass next week, and I hope that Blair is watching.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I get it. But like a bit, that's a little bit of the audacity there to walk up to somebody aggressively and say, "Hey, you use the word hope."
Well, when Blair did that promo, I was like, "Oh, that's meant for Amel." So that's why I took it too.
Yeah, right. Because it was, but still, I'm gonna crush hope around here. I don't know. I don't know if Mel, like, I get it, but still, very aggressively. Wouldn't you just wait till you see her in the break room? Hey, let me ask you something real quick. My thing is like hope, the French hope.
Well, I mean, that's pretty much what she did here, except it was in the parking lot instead of the break room.
Came up peacocking.
Yeah, so?
Ah, man, you got to be cooler than that, man. Be diplomatic about stuff. She don't want to fuck with Blair Davenport. She's scary.
Maybe she does. Maybe she does. Apparently she does. She wants to have a match with her. That's what it seems to be.
She's going to learn a lesson. After that, we had an Ilya Dragunov video package. He says, all of the opponents of mine have been chapters in my book. I don't know what accent that is.
Yeah, that's definitely not Ilya.
He's like, I'm looking out for new challengers, but there's someone I've never fought before. That's just a really generic villain voice.
I don't know what that voice is supposed to be, Steve.
And that name was Wolfgang. I'm like, Wolfie?
No, Russell Wolfgang,
UK
apparently.
champion? That's going to be a hell of a match.
Yeah. That was going to be great. Then we got Tate Mayfair's versus Trent Seven. We went through this a bit to start. Trent was just trying to put away Tate with like the most basic of moves, power, or like body slams, chops. Tate wasn't staying down. He actually got some of his stuff off. Eventually, though, Trent wins with a 7-star lariat. After the match, he puts Mayfair's into figure 4, and then Sam Gradwell runs out to make the save.
Mm-hmm. Jog on! Jog on!
Then we got this great Noam Dar Mark Coffey video package. They got a Heritage Cup championship match coming up very soon.
Yeah, next week. That's exciting stuff, man. I don't know any of the spoilers of that, but I'm looking forward to that, and I want to see Mark Coffey as new Heritage Cup champion. After that, we had the main event was Zaya Brookside and Eliza Alexander versus Saray and Mako Satomura. God damn it, watching Saray and Mako as a team. Holy moly.
Great.
Oh my gosh, this was so much fun. But yeah, Saray basically dropkicked Zaya out of the ring, just clear out of the ring. Mm-hmm. And then Mako follows that up with a Scorpio Rising for the win. Refs had to check on Zaya afterwards.
Yeah.
Because that was a hell of a sequence right there. That was good stuff.
It really was. It really was. It was a really fun match. We got a SmackDown preview here. Drew McIntyre takes on Sheamus for the right to challenge Roman at Clash at the Castle.
So that's how they're setting that match up, man. That's good.
Well, I mean, here I guess it says the right to challenge the undisputed champion, but it's going to be Roman.
Oh, yeah, because SummerSlam's coming up. Yeah, this will be good. I wonder if they're going to, because, I mean, September's a little ways away. What are they going to, like, extend this out a little bit? Like another wonky finish where they go into a double count out and then the actual match for the number one contenderships at SummerSlam?
Who knows?
Yeah.
That's entirely possible, I suppose.
And then this is going to be amazing. The Maximum Male Models to unveil their 2022 tennis collection.
This should be interesting.
And don't forget about the ankles. Marseille Mansoir.
We got a Rampage tonight. We got Takeshita versus Eddie Kingston. That should be really good.
Yeah, that'll be a good one. Gresham and Moriarty versus the Gates of Agony and Ring of Honor. I think they're going to change like the branding and the for Ring of Honor stuff.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be
really cool.
That'd be very neat.
We get Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez in action.
And then Orang Cassidy versus Tony Nese.
No, I didn't put neither, did I?
Orang Cassidy. I don't know. I just like to give you some flack. Orange Cassidy versus Tony Nese for some contract thing.
Oh, shit.
Oh, he's even oranger. The Oranger Cassidy. There you go. Good job. Anyways, that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonator Phil McDonald, here to tell you to go support Going In Raw and Friendo Club at patreon.com/Steven Larson. They got bonus episodes, ad-free audio, a weekly newsletter rounding up the weekend wrestling news, and a bunch more. Patreon.com/Steven Larson. Go support or get hit with a stunner.